Okay, hello everyone. We are live, and we are live with our free taster for 30 days to get it done boot camp. And today I have, well, I'm interviewing, I call interviewing, two amazing ladies that, well, I know personally. I'm in Australia, and my name's Julie Andrew, and I'm a living coach, and I do access consciousness tools. So today we're going to be talking about this program of 30 days of getting Get It Done bootcamp. So I'm going to introduce you to Annie and introduce you to Stephanie.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, girls.
There we go.
What part of the world are you in? So I'm in Australia. I'm in New South Wales on the Central Coast, and it's summer, and the birds are out, and it's just amazing. Where are you in the world?
So I am in Ontario, Canada, and we're just heading to the winter solstice and heading into things going into hibernation and quiet and peace, and there's a really sort of peaceful sense about things in my part of the world, and it's getting cold.
I love hearing how it is where you guys are. I am in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States, which is the southeast of the United States. And we don't have consistent weather, so it bounces back and forth between summer and fall and winter, depending on what time of the day it is and what day of the week it is.
That sounds great.
That's fun.
Do you have birds?
We do have birds. We've got birds. We've got all sorts of critters.
So, Annie, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, about where, what you do, and about the amazing things that you do with Access Consciousness?
Sure. So I'm a master certified coach. I'm accredited by the International Coach Federation. I've been a coach for over 20 years, and I've been in business for over 30. I have an MBA and about 15 years of corporate experience in strategic marketing, and left everything, gave away everything. I was the monk who literally gave away her Ferrari, and I went to India for 8 years. I love that story. And I was really seeking myself. And so it's been an interesting journey, and I love what I do, coaching clients. I call myself the intuition whisperer, because you know how we have our own journey. Usually what our very own challenges have been is usually an indication for the kinds of clients that get attracted to us. So I call them sassy creatives. They're people who are, you have this sense that there is something delicious and magical, and it's sitting inside of you, and you're going, I know it's there, and I wanted to get out. How's it going to get out? What is it? What is that thing? And those are the people, like, it's low-hanging fruit. They're just ready to get it out into the world. They're just waiting for someone who can actually give them the tools or to assist them to do that. And that was what Access Consciousness has been for me. I discovered Access back in 2012. I have been incredibly successful with clients in making great changes in their lives, and adding the tools of Access Consciousness has just taken it to a stellar level. Like the speed with which clients are now choosing change, the ability to change just like that, they're so effective, they're so amazing, and I just add it to my tools and skills. Not every client is it's a bit weird and wacky, as we know. So I have a ton of tools, and I love Access. So this group is really about 30 days. Because we all start off the year as we have a great intention. I'm going to get this done. It could be a book, It could be getting your garden done. It could be cleaning out your garage. It could be an art project. It could be helping your kid do better at math. Like, it really doesn't matter what that thing is. It's just something that says, this is the year I really like to get this done. So I've put together this incredible team. Stephanie Richardson, who is next to me, is one of them, and I'll let her introduce herself in a sec. We also have Sherry L.R. Taylor, brilliant editor, writer, author. She is the joyful writer. And then I also have Fran Fisher, who's another Master Certified Coach and calls herself the Breakthrough Master, and she's brilliant at helping people identify, get clear with what they're putting in their way, and then making strategies to really break through to get whatever it is that they're choosing. Each one of us will be taking a week that will have a private Facebook group. We're going to offer daily prompts. There'll be weekly videos. There's a private one-on-one coaching session with me to get things started. And the best part, and we're going to have a launch party. I can't wait till that happens. That's going to be a celebration no matter where you're at, wherever you are in getting it done. We're going to have a virtual launch party where we're going to have giveaways and prizes and a way to celebrate wherever we are at that point in time. And of course, what else can I tell you? I know what I wanted to say. That this project that we're creating, the nicest part about that is you can be live with us on this event, of course, and we would love for that to be the case. You could also purchase it and do it in your own timing. So, and they'll still get that one-to-one session, 30-minute private coaching session with me no matter what. So even if you buy it, and you go, you know what, I can't attend this live, I want to start this January 1st, buy it, you'll still get that coaching session with me, and you'll have all that you need to support you to get through to making a change and getting it done.
That sounds great. And Stephanie, can you introduce yourself?
Of course, yeah. So my name is Stephanie Richardson, and I am a certified facilitator of Access Consciousness, and I am also trained as a professional photographer and have worked in both the commercial industry, the commercial photography industry, as a producer and as a photographer, and worked with many speakers and entrepreneurs and just regular folks doing my photography work, doing portrait sessions with people. And I started that, weirdly enough, because I was so uncomfortable with people, which is really funny because no one ever noticed my entire life. They never noticed that I was uncomfortable with people. I have always been one of those people who has found the bits and pieces of my life that haven't been working, and then sought to actually have something different for me. So it's been natural for me to always seek that, to actually seek what it is that makes life easy and fun, and anything that I allow to get in my way, I've always sought out to change it for me. And that ultimately led me to Access Consciousness. And I tell people that I use whatever tools work, and if I ever found tools that worked better than the Access tools, I would be using those. But so far, they've been the most effective tools I've found at doing everything from changing stuff you want to change in your life because you don't like it, to actually creating in your life. Because one of my biggest hurdles was always that having the creativity and having the desire to create, but then coming to those places where everything either seems to get in the way, or the not knowing how to get it in the world, or not knowing how to get, not knowing who to talk to, or not knowing how the business worked, or whatever that was, always letting those pieces get in the way. And what I found is that Access does both. It helps you clear all the stuff where the worry or the incessant thoughts or the confusion or the judgment, any of that stuff that you sort of impose on yourself and impose on your creativity or impose on your business, it helps clear that And then on the flip side, or concurrently, like at the same time, you actually get to ask questions about what it is you would like to create. You actually begin, you don't have to wait until you're 100% the person that you want to be again creating the life that you want to have. You don't have to do one to have the other. You actually can create the life you'd like to have starting right now, and then backwards from what we've been taught, you sort of become who you want to be. And so I've loved that I've gotten to actually facilitate people on all of those fronts, on moving more into their creativity in their own lives and on projects, and at the same time too, like having more ease with themselves, more patience with themselves, more kindness with themselves and their bodies. Because being a photographer, I get a front row seat to people's insecurities about themselves and what they're creating, and about their bodies and how they look. People, those are the two things that show up all the time. Well, I'll get a session whenever I'm 5 pounds lighter. Or I'll get a session whenever I'm, or when I've actually created the business that I want to promote. And what I found is people who will let me in before that actually get the change that they're asking for, whereas the people who, put their limitations first of I won't choose what I want until I look the way I want, or until I've created what I already desire. I found that actually is a much bigger limitation than actually choosing what you want in advance. So that's been a real gift, the people who've let me into their lives before they feel like their lives are shareable, because we have the ability to open those doors to what people truly desire to create, not because we have the power, but by empowering each and every client to know that they have exactly what it takes to be what they want to be. They have exactly what it takes to create what they want to create. It's not something that we're giving them from outside. We're literally empowering them to be what they already are and already can choose, but have been sort of entrained to believe otherwise. So it's a huge gift.
So what would be one of the tools in Access Consciousness? And we've been just talking, there's so many different tools in Access Consciousness. So if someone, signed up for this program for 30 days, what would be one of the tools that you would use?
There are so many tools. I mean, look, essentially what we are going to do in having a private session is we're going to get really crystal clear on what it is actually that is your target. So that's number one. And that could be anything. It could be you want to get your business running. It could be that you do want it, like I said before. It could be something specific. It could also be I want to just get out of judgment of myself. So really, we're not going to go in there with a pre-programmed idea of what we're going to be doing with people. We're going to allow their questions and what they're actually requiring to lead us. We're going to follow that. So it's going to be really organic. But typical questions in Access Consciousness would be, and that really is the tool. I mean, I loved what Stephanie said. I loved everything that she said, and you could see why I wanted her to be part of this group, because it's really about empowering people to access the answers. That's why it's called Access Consciousness, to access their own awareness. So, we get out of our way, because the number one thing that stops us from creating, we give ourselves all these excuses. I'm going to get to it when I'm perfect, like Stephanie said, when I lose 5 pounds, when I'm over this, when I'm over that, and then, a whole life could be lived, and the next thing you know, where did time go? It's gone. So it's really about learning how to get out of judgment of ourselves. Number one, realizing, what you think of me is none of my business. If I am choosing to lead a life and I am choosing to be happy, and by the way, that is our innate nature, even though that might be like, what? Yeah, our innate nature is happy. That is who we really truly be. If you really take away and strip away all the stuff that we've bought into, all the entrainment, just being by yourself, are you not usually a happy person? Because I really am. It took me a really, really long time to discover that. So getting out of judgment, and that, it's not like a how-to guide. It's really like, we'll be working with people primarily to get out of judgment of themselves so that they can access their own awareness, so that they can access their own creativity. And there is no right and wrong and perfect way of doing this. It's whatever way works for you. And we are supporting that. And what we're creating in this space, and why I chose these brilliant women to do this with me, is because we're all really, really exceptional at holding space without judgment so that you are free. We'll give you lots of tools. We'll hold that space, and we'll be there for you as you run into, because that's what happens as we start to address issues, as we start to come up, as we start to explore our creativity, we come up against these issues, and so we'll be there. 3 out of 4 of us are Access Consciousness trained in a variety of tools. I am a past Access certified facilitator. Stephanie's current, and Sherry's a VARS facilitator. So we have lots of skills amongst all of us. But it is getting out of judgment of yourself so that you can get to create. Does that answer your question, Julie?
Well, yeah. I would love to add just a little bit too about. There are a bunch of specific tools, but the biggest overarching tool that I would say that we use in Access Consciousness is actually moving from the place where we have statements and conclusion in our life, and actually moving into a place where we have question in our life. I would say that's the biggest tool, that every time you find that you find yourself in a cul-de-sac of thought where you're at the end of the road that you know how to get to, and you're just sort of like swirling around at the end and can't seem to find, you're like, no, I just came from that way and I don't see any other way to go from here. In those moments, whether it's about what you look like, or whether it's about what you want to create, or whether it's about who your family is, or who your lover is, or who, about what house you want to have. It doesn't matter what the thing is that you come to that end point in. When you introduce a question where there's previously only been either judgment or a sentence with a period at the end of it, when you add a real question into that, what happens is doorways to possibilities you've never considered actually will open in front of you. And so that in learning how to ask those questions it's both the simplest thing that you can ever do, and at the same time I'm still having aha moments about it all the time. So if, for instance, if you wanted the two of them that I use all the time is, what else can I add to my life?
Nice. Yeah.
And so so what else can I add? And then the first one that I ever came upon, the first tool I ever heard from Access Consciousness that I went, why didn't I know that before, is, who does this belong to?
Oh.
So many people who are creative and who are, and I include entrepreneurs and speakers and artists and mothers and like in the people I'm calling creative. If you're creating your life at all, you're a creative person, right? And one of the things that I find is that a lot of us are super aware of everyone around us, and so if you've ever walked into a room and and you look around because you have that sense that someone is not happy in the room, and you walk in, you're like, I don't see anybody, but I sure know that somebody is unhappy. What do I need? What's going on here? You're aware of the emotions and the thoughts and the feelings that are around you. And so what happens is there's lots of parts of our life that we think that we have an issue, only we find out when we begin asking that question, who does this thought belong to? Well, who does this feeling belong to? Who does this bodily sensation belong to? We start to find out that a lot of the stuff that we've been using as blocks to our own creativity actually don't even belong to us. It's us being aware and sensitive to what's around us. And so finding that out, discovering that, and then playing with that tool actually begins to unravel these long-held beliefs sometimes that you can't create. All of a sudden you'll find you're like, oh, that's not mine. No wonder I couldn't change it. Light bulb.
I love that you said that, Stephanie. That is just huge. That was a huge one for me. I tell this to people and they're like, what? Do you know that it wasn't up until 2010 that I actually thought I had any creativity in me at all? And people who know me go, what? Like, how is that even possible? I'm a painter, I am a piano player, I am an artist, I am a writer, I'm a gardener, I create with food. And like Stephanie said, if you are living your life and creating it in any way, you are a creator. Making a business, you are creating. And that piece, I think, about asking questions, and thanks for reminding us about that, Steph. Those are great. Those are the key foundational tools, and that's what coaching's all about, by the way, is asking questions. I call myself the professional question asker too. It's you know, it's not like, oh, how did I get so fucked up? It's really about, you know, it's like, and it's not what's wrong with me either. By the way,
what if it's actually you're not as fucked up as you thought you were? That's one thing with the access tools with me. I really thought I was so fucked up. I thought the wrongness was me. I owned it. I had it as a badge of honor. And then, like, for me, starting to use the tools, it was like, wow, I'm not as fucked up as I thought I was. And asking questions for awareness is just so lightness. And, yeah, the tools are amazing, you know.
Well, and it's what I love so much about Access, you know, that first line, because I have been saying this forever, you know, like I went all the way to India only to discover, and I went to study with a guru thinking he knew me and he would tell me who I was, and, you know, how many of us have done things like that, right? Only to come out of that and kind of go, you know what I really took away from 8 years in India was that I actually know what's best for me, not anybody else. So when I saw that Access tagline is empowering people to know what they know, I went, wow, these are my people. Like, this is exactly what I've been searching for. But I want to add one other thing, because creativity isn't in your head. And so when you're buying into other people's points of view, because this is what we do, because we're so aware and we are so psychic, and we're aware of all, you know, this thought field. If you've been a meditator, you know about the thought field, right? It's like really chattery. I always liken it to coming into an auditorium where all of a sudden conscious of all these people talking. And because they're talking and showing up in our awareness, we think it's ours. But really what it is we're just tuning into a field of energy. So by asking questions, what we're doing is we're asking you to get present with you and to include your body as a source of information so that you get out of your head, which is about past or future, which doesn't exist yet, and into the present and with your body. And that is where all your wisdom lives. And so that creativity, it doesn't look what you think it looks like. Creativity is anything. And like Stephanie also mentioned, which I loved, is we're creating our future with every choice we make. So getting people out of judgment of themselves, learning to ask questions, who does it belong to, how does it get better than that, what can I add to my life, like all of these questions will form a huge part of where we'll be taking participants.
So who can actually join the 30 days? And I mean, I know you were saying before about, you know, you don't have to be online. But, you know, who can join? Like, do you require to have a business, or do you require to have a problem, or are you just a seeker? Like, who can, you know, who can, you know, just jump on to your program?
Anybody who's alive that would like to create more in their lives.
Or anyone who doesn't feel alive and would like to.
Seeking and being alive.
And so when does it start? So when does the program, well, you know, I'm calling it a program. It doesn't seem like a program. So when does the boot camp start?
So I added the words in because boot camp makes people feel like they're going to get their asses kicked, and it isn't about that at all.
That'll only be for my week.
Unless you really want your ass kicked. If you're asking for it, you do it.
If you ask me nicely, I'll do it.
Exactly. So it's really about creating, and I have been the rebel of structure from the beginning of time, but I am also beginning to embrace the beauty of structure into my life, and in a gentle kind of way. And what that means is, so we're giving people these daily prompts, these weekly themes, these weekly videos, and a whole assortment of support. And so we're kicking off tomorrow, actually, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So if anybody wants to join us, radicalwisdom.com/get-it-done. So radicalwisdom.com/get-it-done is the way to get more information, and there's a sign-up link at the bottom of the page. And all of our bios are also on that lovely page. We have a private Facebook group, but here's the thing. You can purchase that whole thing, and like I said, you'll still get that private coaching session with me, and you can do it in your own time. That's what we love about this. Is really about honoring you. This isn't about anybody else, pushing you or making you do or forcing. We've had enough forcing and pushing in our lives. This isn't about that at all. This is about, you've got something that is calling you, that you'd like to get into the world, and you're just making a demand of yourself that this is getting out into the world no matter what. And if you're looking for the support to get that to happen, that's who we are for you.
So can you talk a little bit more about honoring yourself? That's something really resonated when you said. Can you talk more about that?
Sure. Yeah, or Steph, do you want to go? Did you have something?
Yeah. Wow. Well, one of the things, it's almost like honoring yourself, a million things going through my head all at once. And I guess the first one would be, so in a moment like this, right, when all of a sudden someone asks you a question, you're on a video with someone, you're doing a professional presentation, you're doing a piece of artwork, and you come to a place where if you were looking at you from the outside, you could judge you. In the past, I would have done that. I would have gathered any bit of information that I could use against myself, and I would use it as a weapon, and then I would try to then become a better person by changing those things that weren't perfect, right? That kind of both brutality and perfectionism combined to make a really rough, internal life. And what I've discovered is that being kind to me actually means including all of me, including the parts that don't look perfect or sound perfect or show up perfectly, and then enjoying myself anyway, which may seem absolutely impossible right now, and that's okay. If you had told me that I could enjoy myself and have things go imperfectly and still feel really enjoy myself a few years ago, I would not have believed you, because I really did have the point of view that in order to be lovable and likable and enjoyable and to enjoy myself, I had to be perfect.
You're the only one.
Yeah, right. And what I found out is that A, doesn't work, and B, I don't know who's gotten there, and C, who likes perfect people anyway, right? So what I discovered is that that every time I come to a place where I'm judging myself, I get to step back and basically go, oh wow, well that was an interesting point of view that I just chose right there. Do I have another choice available right now? And basically moving everything from the I'm bad, I'm wrong, I should have done this better, I should have done this different, I should have said this, the should-haves have really dissipated for the most part. There are a few of them that still dance through from time to time, but for the most part, all the shoulds have basically, I don't have to use those on myself anymore. And that was something that people told me for a long time. Don't should on yourself. But then I just use that to make things, then I just use that to judge myself too. Oh, well, you're right. Oh, I just judged myself. Well, I shouldn't have done that, And what I discovered is we can actually just laugh instead. We can actually just, we can actually just enjoy ourselves instead. We can actually just look and go, oh, well, how does it get any better than that? I just stuttered for 5 minutes. That's awesome. How does it get any better than that? I wonder what I was aware of. And that's what it really has been more embodying the question and the willingness to not judge myself, and then, just every time I catch myself doing it, go, oh, oops, I did it again. Oops, I did it again. Okay, well, I wonder what else would be even more fun than that. I wonder if I just enjoyed me, what would happen.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful.
Oh, that's
beautifully
awesome.
put. Yeah.
That is so awesome. Anything else you like to say? We can start wrapping this up. Yeah. Anything else? It's just been amazing. I've so enjoyed just being, in the presence of both of your energies. It's just, it's great to just be able to talk about these tools. Talk about, what's coming up for the next 30 days with amazing ladies, and and the energy on this is just amazing. We did have one person on. We've got no viewers right now. It is live, and anyone can actually replay it, so we can send it out. But yeah, anything else before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing here, because again, Stephanie pointed to some things that really can get in the way of what might say, someone's thinking, oh, well, I can't be a part of that group. I'm not a creative person, or we're not looking for evidence of your wrongness. We've been doing that all our lives, and I have been very good at that for most of my life, is judging the crap out of myself. And it's really a function of, okay, so how has that been working for me? Is that something I'd like to change? And if you get a big yes on that, and if you get a big yes, and we also have another tool. If it's light, it's true for you, and if it's heavy, it's not. So just ask yourself, if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? And if I don't choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? And see which one's heavy and which one's light. We're really, all of us are really good at playing and making this. It's not about playing for the sake of superficial playing, but what I'm saying is it's easy to make life really serious and look for your wrongness, and you can keep doing that, or if you'd like to make a change and actually access more creativity, or whatever that might look like for you, come and join us. I just ask that question of yourself: would this contribute to my life if I choose this? And if it does, please, please, please join us. We would so love to have you play with us. radicalwisdom.com/get-it-done.
And anything you'd like to say, Stephanie?
That was such a fabulous wrap-up that, I would love to just leave it there. I'd love to play with you guys, and that whole tool of, if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? If I don't, what will my life be like? Because the choices that you make right now are the choices that are creating your future, as Annie said earlier. So thank you so much for having us, and thank you so much, Julie, for such a lovely interview. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, it felt so light to put this together, and my question I was asking, what will this create? And for the more people to see this and see the tools. So that's one of my targets, is to get these tools out to the whole world, because they are just they're so amazing, and they've changed my whole life. And so thank you for joining and just allowing me to interview you both. So thank you.
Yay! Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah.
Bye. See you guys. Bye.
See you soon.
See ya.